You know, what if you had a blueprint for a good life, something passed down through centuries, but it still felt like it was written just for you, right now? Well, that's pretty much the promise of a chapter from the Qur'an called Surah Luqmān. Today, we're going to dive into this timeless wisdom, which is framed as advice from a father to his son, and see what it can teach all of us.
So this is really the big question at the heart of the whole thing. What are the absolute essentials for a life of purpose, of meaning, of humility? And what's so cool is, the text doesn't answer with a bunch of abstract rules. Instead, it all unfolds through this really intimate, personal conversation between a wise father and his son.
So before we even get to meet the main character, Luqman, the text sort of introduces itself first, and it doesn't present itself as some, heavy, complex, philosophical text. Nope, it's much more direct. It says right up front that it's a book of clear guidance. Just listen to the language here. It's not just a collection of smart sayings. The text calls itself both guidance and mercy. And it's aimed at a very specific group, the doers of good, which, of course, leads to the next question. What exactly does it mean to be a doer of good in this context? Well, the source lays it out pretty clearly. The people who are really going to benefit from this wisdom, the ones it calls successful, are those who do three things. They stay connected to the divine through prayer, they support their community through charity, and they hold a solid belief in what comes after this life. It's this perfect blend of personal spirituality and social responsibility.
Okay, so, after setting the stage with its purpose, the text then shifts our focus. It moves from these inward principles to the world all around us. It basically suggests that if you're looking for proof of wisdom, you just need to open your eyes and look at the signs in nature.
First, it tells you to just look up. To think about the sky, so vast, held up without pillars that you can see. It's an invitation to just stop for a second and wonder about the unseen forces that hold our universe together. It's this incredible feat of engineering we see every single day and probably take for granted. And then, it brings our focus right back down to Earth. The mountains, they're not just beautiful scenery. Here, they're described as anchors, as massive stabilizers cast into the earth to keep it from shaking and shifting under our feet. They're presented as this source of immense stability and balance. And finally, the cycle of life itself. Rain falling from the sky isn't just weather. It's this incredible mechanism for growth, bringing forth plants of every noble kind. So you see, these three things, the heavens, the mountains, the rain, they're all part of this powerful argument from design, pointing to a creator who is both deliberative and wise. And all of that brings us right to the heart of the chapter. We finally meet a man named Luqman, who we're told was given wisdom. The real core of this text is the advice he passes down to his son, and it covers some of the most essential parts of living a good life. Luqman's advice is it's so beautifully structured. It kicks off with the absolute foundation, what you believe in. Then it moves to our most important human relationship, our parents. And from there, it branches out into how we should act in public, and just as importantly, how we should carry ourselves with genuine humility. This is it. Luqman's first and most critical piece of advice is all about that foundation of faith. He warns his son, point blank, not to associate partners with God, calling it the greatest injustice. In this worldview, this is the bedrock. Everything else is built right on top of this one principle. So, right after faith, where does the text go? Family. It commands gratitude to parents, but then it specifically zooms in on the mother's struggle. It reminds the son that his mother carried him, increasing her in weakness upon weakness, and his weaning is in 2 years. It's such a powerful, direct call to remember that incredible sacrifice. All right, so from these big core beliefs, the advice gets super practical. It's about how you literally carry yourself as you walk through the world. We're told to avoid arrogance, don't walk exultantly. I mean, in today's world, you could say that's the equivalent of a boastful look-at-me social media feed, right? The guidance is simple. Be moderate in your pace and even lower your voice. Because, as the text so vividly puts it, the absolute harshest sound is the braying of a donkey. It's a lesson in real, tangible humility. So after all this amazing advice on how to live, the chapter then shifts its focus to the ultimate consequence of that life. It moves from the practical to the truly profound, digging into the idea of a final and absolute accountability. Now, to explain just how precise divine justice is, the text uses this incredibly powerful image. It asks you to imagine the smallest possible thing you could do. Something so tiny, so insignificant, so easily forgotten, you'd think there's no way it could ever be accounted for. The weight of a mustard seed. Just think about how tiny that is. The point is that nothing is missed. It doesn't matter how small the action or how well hidden. Even if it's buried deep inside a solid rock, every single thing will be brought forward. It's just a stunning picture of absolute justice.
And this all leads to what the text calls the Day of Judgment. On that day, your connections, your family ties, none of it helps. It's a moment of pure individual responsibility. The text warns us not to be fooled by the worldly life, basically saying that it's all temporary compared to this final reckoning.
And to really drive home this idea of human limits versus divine knowledge, the chapter wraps up by listing 5 things that only God knows. We can't know the exact hour of the end. We don't know the specifics of when the rain will fall. We can't know the future of an unborn child, or what we'll accomplish tomorrow, or even what patch of earth we'll die on. It's a final, humbling reminder of our place in the grand scheme of it all.
The chapter closes with this absolutely awe-inspiring image. It's a metaphor for infinity. Just try to picture it. If every single tree on this planet were a pen, and the entire ocean was ink, and then it was refilled 7 more times with even more oceans of ink, even with all of that, you still couldn't write down all of the words of Allah. You couldn't exhaust His knowledge and wisdom. It's a final, mind-blowing reminder of a wisdom so vast it's beyond our comprehension. A wisdom from which all the advice of Luqman is just one small